Hello, welcome to Postcolonial Space. I'm Masood Raja, and today I briefly want to talk about the significance of reading. Now, I have noticed now that my interactions with all of you have increased that most of the time, quite a few people approach video lectures as the primary source of information and then hope that a video lecture recorded or live will answer all their questions. And my point is that video lectures or even live lectures in a classroom can never substitute deep reading. And this is what I mean by it. Let's say I'm doing a series these days on Edward Said, right? And you watch all the lectures. But I can promise you, even if you watch all the lectures in which I am performing reading of the text itself, you will still miss so many things. And in order to fill those gaps, you will have to then go and carefully read the book and do your research. That's why I constantly request people to read along and read the book. Now, when you read a book, you have to develop your own reading strategies. Okay. What works for me is whenever I read a book, I do a cursory reading first, then I highlight it heavily, annotate it, and then I go and look up the people that the author refers to within the body of the text or in the work cited. And if I have time, then I go and read those people. And what that enables me to do is to learn what is in the book itself, but also to learn the reference materials of the book and thus gain a deeper and broader understanding of the concepts discussed in the book. And that is something that I highly recommend. I call it kind of the regressive mode of learning. You can also look at the works cited page and see who all did an author cite and then regressively read those people, because after all, the author is in conversation with people who previously wrote on the same topic or in the same area of scholarship. Another thing to keep in mind is that every academic and scholarly text has certain built-in silences, right? And this comes from Pierre McCary's work on reading the silences in a text. And what are the silences in the text is what the text takes for granted. So for example, if Said is referring to something in the Middle Eastern history, at times he will take it for granted that the audience would be aware of it. If he gives us a cursory reference of the Napoleonic invasion of Egypt, he's not going to give us details of the Napoleonic invasion, its reasons and causes and after effects within the book. He will assume that people reading the book are either aware of the Napoleon's invasion of Egypt, or will go and look it up. Now, these are the silences in the text. Even more than that, a text can assume certain aspects of philosophy, certain parts of history, without explaining it, that the reader will be privy to it. A better reading of the text then would be to read those silences, because when you read those silences, you'll inform yourself better, but also you will be able to learn what the author is taking for granted. It can also point to the author's privileged position or can enhance your understanding of the author's argument. Now, one of the best books on this kind of reading is actually Althusser's book, Reading Capital, right? In which what he reads is the silences of Capital Volume 1 or Marx. And what he is reading in there is whatever it is that Marx doesn't discuss and takes for granted as common knowledge or something upon which he's building his argument. So, not to repeat the same point over, the videos can be an introduction. They can be an augmentation, a supplement, which can inform your knowledge or which can initiate into new branches of knowledge, new modes of looking at scholarly and academic materials. But videos by themselves cannot be the most comprehensive mode of understanding anything. Even the brief videos that I have on post-colonial concepts actually do not answer all the questions, right? What they try to do is introduce you to a concept, give you brief lineaments of how it is structured, who argued for it, but a more important way of learning, deeper learning, would be to actually go and read. And that's why I always give this example to my friends from Pakistan and elsewhere, is the way we prepare our doctoral students. Now, if you look at the structure of any American university's doctoral degrees in humanities, before they go and write their dissertation, our students first take required number of courses, 30 hours or 33 hours. Then they take about a year to read for their comprehensive exams. They develop a list, reading list in their primary area, in their secondary area. My list had 280 books on it, right? And then they take a year and a half to read on their field of study, right? And then they take their comprehensive exams and defend them orally. So that means by the time they come to the dissertation, they have read in breadth and in depth in the field of study that they are trying to specialize in. And then when they go to the dissertation, they carry this knowledge with them and then do a slice of in-depth research on any topic related to their field of study. Now, this applies to general learning practices as well. So you watch a video on Edward Said, on Paulo Freire, and you see what I am saying about it, how I am explaining it. But then you go and read the book carefully, take this little bit of knowledge that comes from me, but then explore on your own. You know, if I say Freire is relying on Erich Fromm, and I make a video on it, you as a listener, as a reader, as a student and scholar, then if you have time, go and read Erich Fromm. See, what third force psychology means, who are its major theorists, depending on your time and your interests. But this is the strategy. So let me sum it up. Watch any of the videos, my videos, or any other educational videos on the web. That will give you some points, but it cannot cover everything. It cannot be exhaustive. Take those points with you, but also the questions. Then, if it is about a book, which most of my videos are, or about a concept, go and look up that concept. Go and find that book and read it. The easiest way to augment whatever you learn from the videos is just doing a Google search. I know they are a monopoly, because Wikipedia, on philosophical and conceptual entries, Wikipedia has really well developed entries because the specialists, volunteers, monitor them and edit them. Start there. There will always be some links at the bottom, some further reading, and then expand into more specialized, maybe more controlled knowledge. But start from what is available out there in the world. Read it critically, right? You don't want to just fall for anything. And then build on that. And I think that way these videos on my channel or any other channel which deals with education will be useful to you as an initiating tool or as a supplement, but never really, as a replacement for the actual act of careful reading. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much. If you have any suggestions about a topic or anything else, please post it in the comments. Please do also note that our channel now has memberships. So if you just click on the join button below, it will explain to you what it means. I would love to have you as regular supporters of this channel of Postcolonial Space. And hope you're staying safe in this pandemic. Take care of each other. Hope you're having fun also. And do find some time to, relax and enjoy life. And as always, I'm indebted to you for being a part of this venture, and thank you so much for that. That's all. As always, peace and love.